All right, we are going to talk about the unit circle today. The unit circle is just a way of kind of tying together everything that we've talked about: degrees, radians, special right triangles, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to draw the unit circle. I'm going to show you how we draw it, and then you are going to go from there and work on memorizing it. All right. A couple of little side notes to remember. In the unit circle, the radius is equal to 1. So all similar circles, in turn, all circles, are similar to this one. You may also want to remember that the coordinates x, y are the same as cosine of the angle and sine of the angle. This is what makes it really a whole lot faster to use than constantly drawing these triangles. And that tangent is equal to sine over cosine, which will make figuring out angles using the unit circle later a little bit easier. All right, so your first job is to memorize the unit circle, and after that, your job is going to be to use the unit circle to rapidly come up with numbers. A lot of people say y is sine y and cosine x, and the reason for that, if you think about our reference triangles that we've been using, and this being the angle we're basing it off of, every single time sine is the y value. It's always the opposite from that angle is the vertical value. And x is on the x, or x is cosine. All right, so here we go. Let's write down what we know first. We know that this is 0 and 360 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, and 270. I think everybody knows that and is pretty comfortable with it. This, and I'll put the 0 here also, it's 0 degrees and 360. In radians, it's 0 and 2 pi, which if you remember made this one just pi. This is pi over 2 because it's half of pi. And this is 3 pi over 2 because it's 1.5 pi. All right, so we have our quadrantal values here. And you may also hopefully remember the coordinates of that point, of these points that we've talked about. So this one would be 0, 1. Remember, this one is 1, 0. -1, 0. And 0, -1. You probably remember that from the standard position and finding exact values and all of that good stuff. So we're going to split this up by all of our special angles, 30, 45, and 60. Let's start with 45 because it's easiest. And of course, I'm just approximating these little suckers. All right. Most of us have in our head that we know this is 45 degrees. This would be 90 plus 45, 135. 180 plus 45, 225. And 270 plus 45 is 315. So those are the measurements of the angles in standard position. In radians, this is 1/4 of pi. So from pi to here, we have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 of pi. 4/4, which is 1, 5/4. 6/4, 7/4. And lastly, 8/4, which is 2 pi. All right, and we'll go back and we'll write the coordinates at the end. So let's draw the next ones and figure out the degrees and the radian. So we're going to go with the 30-degree angle now. The 30-degree angle would be somewhere around here. 30-degree reference angle is what we're talking about. So if this is 30 degrees, and you think about it, there are 30 degrees in 180. So this is going to be pi over 6, which is 30 degrees. And then we're 1/6 away, so this will be 5 pi over 6, which is 150 degrees. This would then be 6 pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6, which is 210 degrees because 180 plus 30. And our last one is 30-degree reference angle, which means we have 30 degrees more to go. That's 330. We're talking about 6, and we're almost to 2 pi, so 11 pi over 6 for that one. All right, so those are the 30-degree reference angles. And then we have our 60-degree reference angles. All right, so this one's 60. How many 60s are there in 180? 3. So this is 1/3 of pi, pi over 3. So 0, 1/3, 2/3, 2 pi over 3, and 3/3. This one is the same as 120 degrees, 60, and then another 60. This one down here, this is 3/3, 4/3, so 4 pi over 3, which is 60 degrees from 180, so 240 degrees. 5 pi over 3 here, which would be plus another 60, 300 degrees. All right, so these are the measure of the angles in radians and degrees that you need to memorize. The other part that you need to kind of think about are what are the coordinates. So we're going to find the coordinates for all of these points, all of these angles. So if you picture our reference triangle with our reference angle, this is the 30-degree angle, so that would be 1, 2, root 3. So the sine of that would be 1 over 2. So that's going to be our y coordinate. And cosine of that is root 3 over 2. So our coordinate there is root 3 over 2 and 1/2. Picture this one. It's 45, 45, 90. So it's going to be 1 over root 2. Well, 1 over root 2 is root 2 over 2. And that's going to be the same for cosine because remember, this is 45, 45, 90, so the legs are the same. And the last one, this is a 60-degree angle, so that one's going to have the root 3 on it. So for sine, it's going to be root 3 over 2 and 1/2 for cosine. If you don't know where I got those numbers from, let me know, and I'll help you with it a little further. All right, now these are just going to have the same combinations, just different signs. Over here, our x is what's negative over here. So negative 1/2 and root 3 over 2. Cosine is negative 1/2. Sine is root 3 over 2. This one is going to be negative root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. Negative root 3 over 2, positive 1/2. Because our y's are positive up in that quadrant. Now down here, we still have negative root 3 over 2, but now our y is negative as well, so sine is negative 1/2. Negative root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. Negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. All right, and mirrored over here. This one, the x is positive now. Positive 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. Positive root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. And lastly, positive root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. And those are coming from the reference triangles. So you can see that essentially we have a circle here. Oop, I think my radius keeps changing, so I'm just going to go like that. You have a unit circle, just like that. All right, so you need to just practice and practice and practice and practice drawing the unit circle. All right, see ya.